Well, they promised 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts this morning, and they're not wrong. The wind is pretty insane. And I got up, and the first thing I did at 7:30 is check my phone to see if they closed school. And yep, they closed school. We've been having brownouts, and I came out here to unplug Ruby, except I forgot my phone and or the key fob. So I guess I get to try this a second time. But we're having enough electric power going on and off. She's charged. I just wanted to unplug her. But no school today. They changed their mind on the 2-hour delay, and we're now closed. Good morning, guys. I actually was up briefly and fed everybody a while ago. Alright, this is Unplug Ruby Take 2. That's what happens when you try to do things when you've only been awake for 2 minutes and haven't had any coffee yet. There's Ruby girl. So you always know you forgot the key fob when the lights don't come on. There we go. Well, we'll probably go to town later, Ruby, but for now, we are off the school run. She'll shut that door when I walk away. There goes Don on the unicycle to get his paper. I saw the deer run when he headed down the driveway. They're all off to the right now, though, where we can't see them. Well, considering we had seriously 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts this morning, the wind was roaring. It looks pretty lucky to me that we don't have a tree or any substantial size limb down. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some limbs down, but it's just little stuff Don would have to move before he mows for the first time this spring. Not anything too serious. Hey, Donnie! He's having to watch out for extra debris on the driveway. Did you survive out here, Panther? Huh? Panther, did you survive out here, bud? That's a good boy. Hey, the winds, the schools without power, and too many trees down on the road. Wake County decided this morning around 7-ish, right before the buses rolled, to go ahead and close the schools for today. And I think that was the right decision. So that let me get some extra rest since I'm not feeling well, and I'm also getting caught up on a few other tasks at my computer. And one of them is I wanted to show you the last few stops that Don and Kyle made on their trip back home. You can see here on the right now that the circle is complete on their trip. And Don has gone out there and finished now adding quite a few videos, updating descriptions, and making it so that the trip is completely documented. If you weren't in there, you can still go back in there now and look at it. You could follow him. He will use this tool in the future if we go on other trips, maybe, you know, the trip from Don's perspective kind of a thing. I've also installed it and want to play with it. But at any point, let me talk about these last few stops. So they stopped near Knoxville at Farragut. Don says we needed to stop in Knoxville, which is between Nashville and Asheville. This was a very brief stop. So this is basically just before you cross from Tennessee back into North Carolina. This is at 11:04 p.m. Let me go ahead and make this picture larger. And it's the cars saying that they need to charge for 15 minutes in order to make Asheville. Otherwise, they would not have enough charge to get there. They did not quite wait 15 minutes, and they were good to go. Here they're at 70%. It's 11:19 p.m. Kyle has obviously just unplugged the car, and they're getting ready to take off. Remember, the dots to the right are moving, you know, as I move from step to step, which I think is a pretty cool animation there. It says it was pitch dark when we were going through the Smoky Mountains. It's a beautiful drive during the daylight. I made a couple of videos of the tunnels that we passed through, which were lit up by LED fixtures. And I agree with Don that is just a gorgeous drive. And it's a little unfortunate that they came through at night, but they did what they needed to do. Let's listen to Dawn's video here. I'll make it bigger. I think it's going to play better today. Make sure the sound is on so that you can hear Dawn, and let's go.
Woohoo! Look at this tunnel. Pretty nice. Yeah. And you can see only a bit of the lights are on. Yeah, we're in North Carolina now for about the last 3 or 4 miles.
So no holding their breath and no screaming. You could tell there weren't any kids in the car. That is pretty cool, though. I've always enjoyed tunnels. And here's another video clip.
This is the second tunnel we've come through. And it's interesting, not all the lights are on. It's like every 4th light or so is up there is on. It's kind of hard to see. They're zooming by. Oh, I guess every other one here. Way cool. This is the second.
Way cool. Obviously, in the mountains, there are a lot of tunnels that get you through mountains. So they did make it to Asheville. It is now 1:15 a.m. They have definitely decided that they are not stopping. I knew if they didn't stop in Knoxville, they weren't stopping. I had figured that out. Once you're in North Carolina, there's, not a lot of, you'd have to really be super tired and not have 2 people, I think, to share the driving to not want to get home to your own house. So they're getting the battery low. It says there will be significantly less energy available from your battery if it gets colder. Again, it's 1:15 a.m. I think this is right before, I'm going to say, they plug in. Getting off Asheville Supercharger. This must be here where they're taken back off because they're at 42% now. So they've charged and they're headed over to, I'm going to say, Hickory is going to be the next stop. We really like the Hickory Supercharger because it's out of Sheets. Plenty of opportunity to use the restroom, clean facility, safe, well-lit facility. So they are in Hickory now. I've changed, Don pointed out, to miles and degrees in Fahrenheit now because it was showing Celsius before. And us poor people in North Carolina, we don't know what 11 Celsius is. So it's warm out. And they stopped at the Sheets, which is the supercharger in Hickory, North Carolina. I like this stop. The Sheets has all I need, restrooms and junk food, and it's always open.
So here we are, Hickory, North Carolina. We're supercharging. This is our second to last stop. I think we'll stop at Burlington next. This is at a Sheets, which is like one of my favorite stops because they're always open, and you get junk food and use the restroom. Works out well. It's not cold. It's in the 50s. A little bit of wind. A little cloudy, as you can see the kind of hazy glow around the moon. So here we are.
Yeah. The nice thing about this Sheets in particular, it has a large place to sit down and eat in it, bigger than some other ones we've been to. We've sat there with our friend Andy and enjoyed a snack. We've sat there with the Triangle Tesla people on the way home from the Blue Ridge Parkway stuff. We've ate or sat and enjoyed conversation with people quite a bit at this particular supercharger. And I guess they're getting ready to go. Kyle has unplugged. They're up to 45%. We wouldn't want to put too much energy in the battery to make the next stop. And they are actually off and on their way to Greensboro. Nobody really wants to stop in Burlington. We just only stop in Burlington if we've got to. So they're getting ready to stop in Greensboro next. Greensboro. This is like when you hit Greensboro, you're 90 minutes from our house, the back way, or non-rush hour, the longer interstate way. So Kyle once again proved that he is Mr. 2%. We pulled into Greensboro with just 2% state of charge. Kyle said that once he knew we could make it, he picked up the speed and didn't spare any range, which I totally get. Let me blow up this picture. So it's now 4:18 a.m. I am sound asleep at the house, not worrying where the guys are at the slightest. Well, just looking at the inside of my eyelids, and they are still driving. And Don has another video here at the Greensboro Sheets.
Well, we're here, in Greensboro, North Carolina supercharger. Been here many times before. It's a nice supercharger. Again, and another Sheets. I don't know, it's like 83 or 84, 5 miles from here to my house. This will be our last stop, but Cal's got to do a little calculating. He's got to decide, we have to decide how far our house is supposed to buffer. We'll see.
And the buffer is because, you know, it's approximately 20 miles and 30 minutes from our house back up to Kyle's house just west of Raleigh. So downtown Raleigh. So, you know, he needed to get to our house, plus unless he wanted to sit around and wait for our charging, he needed enough to also get home. I will say here, if we go forward just a little bit in this video, nice, you know, people are talking about security while supercharging, safety. You know, Tesla, I don't know all the ones that are Sheets in North Carolina, but at least Hickory, Greensboro, Smithfield, and Henderson, and Mount Airy. That's 5 of the North Carolina superchargers now are at Sheets gas stations. And, you know, it's 4 in the morning, but they're at a well-lit place with other people around, at least inside the store. I mean, if you would stop at a gas station at 4 in the morning, at this particular supercharger location, you could stop and charge at 4 in the morning because you've got the same safety, you know, sort of a network of well-lit people around, open bathrooms, coffee, and that kind of thing. So I think at first I wanted to be offended that Tesla was putting superchargers at gas stations because I don't want to be anywhere near gas. But you got to step back for a minute and think about the middle of the night. This becomes a really much better option than in, say, one that's in the corner of a mall parking lot. So I've kind of come full circle now in my thinking about superchargers at the Sheets. And then they are home, Fuquay-Varina, North Carolina. I just love Donnie's comments as they're coming down, you know, the driveway here.
No, I'll come back and get it. All righty. We're home. What a trip. Road trip. Let's do another one.
That's right. I'm turning around 2 days.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. It's been a great trip and really enjoy it. Kyle is a blast to go on a road trip with. If you get the opportunity, you ought to take him up on it. I had a great time. Got here in time to see my sweetie before she left to take Johnny to school.
Yep. And this was the final thing, but Don did put in the comments. So they started out at 26,807 miles, and they ended up at, excuse me, this backward. It started out at 23,655 miles, ended at 26,807 miles, and then it's in the right order for the math, which is 3,152 total miles driven. So that was about half of the miles Kyle drove, a little less than half, when he went all the way out to Fremont, you know, a week or so before this trip and back. So basically he took Don to California and left him there. No, just kidding. But it was a sizable, lengthy road trip. And yes, Kyle has already started just a short time ago on another road trip. And this time he is headed south. It's going on 2:30 in the afternoon. I am going to go play Pokemon Go. I feel well enough to drive around in my car for a few minutes, but I don't feel well enough to go into any stores, and certainly don't want to share this with anyone. Maybe I'll be feeling up to going into Guardian Angel tomorrow or something, but not today. It's about 50 out there, but tonight's low is going to be 27. No, I say, no, 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 no. I don't want 27. I don't want 27. I especially don't want 27 while I'm not 100%, because that might slow down my recovery, but it is what it is. So, like I said, I'm just going to drive around and play Pokemon Go for a bit, and I am hoping that, As I leave, go down the driveway, there's nothing so big that I feel compelled to get out and move it. Ruby started navigation to the school. Not today, girl. Yeah, it really hasn't cleared up as much today as you would have thought. There's not a lot of activity today here at the environmental park, considering how windy it is and that it's not sunny and particularly warm. I can understand why there's not a lot of people out today. As you can expect, there's not a lot going on over here at the playground, splash pad of course, or even on the ball field. I'm here at Emmanuel Holiness now, just to spin the gym. And yeah, the sky is ever changing today. Sun tries to come out, clouds up some more, wind definitely still blowing. It's actually started sprinkling a bit. This is my last Pokestop. I've got all my daily research tasks and stuff done, so I'm headed back to the house. Rosie, our Ring doorbell camera, just told me that Don is back from his run. This house across the street from the caboose was just remodeled, and I really like what they did with the front porch. Alright, one last stop. No Pokemon Go outing would be complete without a stop at Mineral Spring or Fellowship Bible. There's Donnie! He says he really loves the backpack blower. For the bigger jobs, it's worth putting it on for, right? Just nod. Just nod.
Yeah.
I love you.
Yeah, I just figured I'd take a crack at it. I know the wind's going to blow more of these sweet gum balls down, but, you know, tomorrow it'll be a little easier. I can just knock it out real quick.
All right, I'll see you at the house.
All righty. Hungry?
All right, if it's not one thing, it's another at our house with keeping stuff off the driveway and dealing with tree debris. But we love the woods, we do. I've seen the hawks and heard them, but so far they have not really spruced up their nest yet. So hopefully soon, though. Hopefully soon. Like I said, it's just been one of those days. Sun, wind, clouds, a little bit of rain, more sun. It's just can't make up its mind today. I did enjoy my ride around town, but I'm glad to be home now. Opening the windows to take pictures was making me a little bit cold. Don is back from his run, and we're fixing to sit down and enjoy some guacamole and a beer while beef stew cooks. Yep. Basically made the same beef stew that Michelle made the other day. You know, the reason why I show cooking on the channel or what we're eating sometimes is it's kind of a side mission of mine to get people to cook and eat real food. Something that doesn't come from the store in a box, something that has less than 5 ingredients, something that's made with whole food pieces. Yeah, it's kind of a side passion of mine that people would keep cooking skills and make an effort to eat things that are not overly processed. So that's why I show the food. We'll be eating the nice warm beef stew here in a little bit. Johnny is headed over to his father's this weekend, but no taekwondo tonight because it's testing weekend. Johnny will do his testing on the makeup day, I think next Friday night. But yeah, on testing weekends, they don't have the regular Friday night or Saturday morning class. So he has enjoyed his day off, and he should have a nice weekend too, because, you know, he had gotten all of his homework done yesterday for today, and then no one was able to hand out any more homework today for the weekend. So I'm thinking he's going to have a good weekend. Well, here's the beef stew, ready to enjoy. Should feel good on this windy, sort of chilly day.
shirt on today.
Roll Tide. On starting the new year just like he ended the... Some people's New Year's are off to a worse start than a trip to Home Depot. If you did not stop and check out the... One of my Japonica camellias. He's headed into Taekwondo. First class of the new year.
Girls morning. Cat food and coffee.
I'm happy until Don's not happy.
Hello to Blue.
Okay. 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah, congratulations.
Afternoon wine #1 because I had the van key.
I'll play Ruby's part.
Well, that didn't take us long. Very cool.
Diane and I are here at Raleigh Union Station.
Gray is particularly not happy with me.
Kitten, she's hit a home run again tonight.
Poor thing is not pleased with me. Looks like it's gonna be a nice winter sunset. You can see more of the counter again. This is a good thing. Tell us all of the good news. Stay on a roll.
Got enough of those Alexas, you know, we could put one under the house.
We don't need no lamps. God, how many lamps?
But the new Ducks, what are you doing on the front porch? A rule that if you drop stuff off, you have to come in Savis Park, and I am astonished. Upstairs in the attic. I know you need it because it has a mermaid on it. I mean, Quince is just looking gorgeous in the sun this afternoon. The daffodils are blooming. Didn't envision being on the side of the road with another flat, but I do not like meeting like this. I'm so happy to have my car back. And it sure does feel good to plug Ruby in. We have friends visiting this morning. 8:15, things are moving fast.
3, 2, 1, let go!
This has been my view for the day.
Get way more affectionate when it gets a little cool.
That's right. Michelle insists is to die for. Michelle's like, she got in and she's like shutting the door. She's You're so cute. It's that time. I know, seriously, right? So it's a very messy day for us here today. You're such a sweetheart. Is in her normal, hopefully very safe spot. Never seen anything quite like it. I mean, I get how it works. Full service EV station. Are you glad I'm home? Thank you, thank you. Inspirational quote, I need a freaking cup of coffee.
I'll be rocking the Cybertruck.
That's right, exactly. I want to go to the Walmart in Holly Springs and the Target in Holly Springs. Have fun, but not too much fun.
Right.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. They have one. It's not a Donnie cup of coffee.
Right here in the front of the hotel where nobody's gonna bother.